Welcome to Keep It Humane, the podcast, where we dive deep into topics surrounding kindness, compassion, and creating a more humane world, whether it's in our communities, in the workplace, or in the world of animal control and shelters. With our hosts,
Ashley Bishop.
And Ashley Bishop.
And I'm Daniel Ettinger. This show is sponsored by Tomahawk Live Trap. Check them out, livetrap.com. It is time. We're back. It is Texas Bishop and our Wisconsin friend Bishop. She is unfortunately working at I don't know if it's legal there or not, but I shouldn't tell people this, at a marijuana distribution center. I hope it's legal up there because if not, I just opened up a whole can of worms and I really apologize.
Disclaimer, she's not, people, just in case.
And if you're not a listener to this show, I joke every episode that she's doing something different. So Ashley, Wisconsin Bishop, is our other co-host, and she used to be on the program every episode, and then her new employment has her working every other Sunday, and that's the day that we record. And so I have to make something up for her, and it's always going to be something new. So you'll hear, if you listen to some of our episodes, you'll hear her doing things like apple picking and or working as an usher. Just the random things. Just the random things. How are you, Texas Bishop?
Good. We got like freaking hurricane winds, rain last night. It was crazy. It's a little weird for us to get rain this late in the season sometimes. I mean, we're still technically quote unquote in hurricane season. But it was just gnarly. It was crazy. The windows were shaking, it was thundering.
Hmm.
But no, man, we're good. I'm so excited for a new facility. The next step of everything is coming up next week.
Oh, that's fun.
So I'm just like I'm excited to see who actually put in for this facility. So we get to talk to all the experts and stuff, I think, coming up. But yeah, we're good, man. We're good.
That's good. I'm excited to hear more and more about your facility and kind of follow that as it goes. I think it's really cool that you get an opportunity to be that kind of creator or part of that, conversation. So I'm
I'm so
happy for you.
nervous, man. This building's gonna be there for a long time. What if I do it wrong?
No, you won't do it wrong. I'm sure it'll be great. I just hope you have like an Ashley Lane or something.
No, no. What I said was going to happen with the facility is that we really need to name at least two rooms after my chain of command because of everything that they have done for our department. My supervisor has been with the city for almost, I think, 20 years now,
Wow.
and we answer to a deputy city manager. And he's been with the city for just as long, I believe. And I mean, they literally were the boots on the ground when we decided to take over the facility. There was two kennels, two wire crates in the facility because the previous shelter literally stripped the building.
Wow.
So that's all they had. And they were doing all the cleaning, doing all the intake and all that stuff when they came in. And I told them that we need to at least do our education room after either of them, and then maybe like another adoption room or something after them because
That'd be
they're
cool.
truly gems in the municipal world. And I make sure to tell them that all the time. How are you?
Good. I am really happy to help celebrate Tomahawk Live Trap's 100th year of business. They've been doing it since 1925. That's amazing. They're a family owned and operated business who work with humane professionals around the world to produce the safest and most effective animal handling equipment available. You could save 10% on their products by using discount code Keep It Humane. That's Keep It Humane all together, all caps. You can visit them at livetrap.com or you can call them at 1-800-272-8727. I'm good though. I'm trying to make this wholesale universal kind of intentional switch. And I think that in many people in our industry can relate to burnout, compassion fatigue, stress, and it's easy to become cynical. I want to be more smilical, if that's a word. Is that okay? That was
Sorry.
stupid. That was so dumb. But you get where I'm going with this.
Yes, I do.
And my hope is if I can change my own thought process, kind of what do they say? Like remap the brain,
Hmm.
change those synapses. We're all capable of it, and I know I am. And so I have been really focusing on just trying to like find the good in all things and continue to just be positive, keep moving forward. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there'll be moments where I need to vent and complain, but at the end of the day, too, I think that my goal is just to keep smiling, keep pushing forward in 2025 and beyond, and um, yeah, just happy to be here, happy to be alive.
We're all human, man. Like we tell you all the time, we're all human. And whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, 90, there's always improvement in your life
Hmm.
to reflect and see what you are doing to get back to the world, but not only to like give yourself sustenance as well. Like I feel I had a, so we don't tangent too much, but I was having this conversation with one of our part-timers because she's going through grad school right now and she's having a tough time. And I see myself in her because, we're so hard on ourselves. Like it's just innate human nature to just be so difficult on ourselves, and failure is not an option when failure is an option. It happens. We learn from our mistakes. We learn from everything that we go through in our life, and it's just important to realize that I'm very bad at that. I'm very bad at taking my own advice, as we all know on this show. um but just make sure, get up every day. It's a new day. I know it's hard, especially for us in this industry, and just see the good if you can.
Absolutely. And what you just said reminds me of one of my favorite quotes of all times. And it's by probably the GOAT. It depends on who you ask. And I'm not a huge basketball NBA kind of follower. I don't watch college basketball, but I get it. Like I'm more of like a pop culture person, so I kind of try to stay up to. I mean, I probably give myself like a C minus in pop culture, but I grew up in the Michael Jordan era. And there's
Mm,
no doubt, any of our listeners, they may have their opinion, but there's no doubt that he is the greatest of all time.
mm-hmm.
That's not arguable.
Mm-mm.
One of his quotes that it truly it just hits for me, and those that know me know that I've I've had my share of transgressions. But he says I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed. And I love that. I think that we can learn a lot from our failures, and we just have to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. I'm trying to do more of that. I really am. And, I don't know who is listening. I know we do have some amazing listeners, and we've been hearing from a lot of them. We actually have
Mm-hmm.
a guest coming up soon that one of our listeners recommended. So looking forward to getting that happening. But yeah, I'm just trying to tell people that I'm human too, and I really try to just take pause, like, and just listen to people, hear what they have going on, whether I'm out here not paying for movers, as we were just joking about offline. No, but in all seriousness, it's just taking a moment to listen, understand what somebody else is going through. And yeah, you're supposed to be able to fail, because without that, how are you going to be able to correct your behaviors and move forward? So
Amen.
well, we got a fun one today, and this show, like I've always been about humane education, and we can't talk about humane education without shouting out the humane educators of Texas. What up, y'all? Anyway,
I know. Love the
uh,
girls.
love them. Hope they're doing well. But this one is more just really focused on an article we found that we want to touch on, and just talk about like what can you do, whether it's within your shelter, if you're an officer out in the field. Like I used to intentionally stop. I would just pull up on people, skirt. That's what we would do. And then I would just get out of the truck and talk to people when they're doing the right thing, or if I'm on a call, how can I provide resources, etc. So I think this article will really kind of hit home for many of you, and hopefully we can continue to see that trend.
Yeah, I agree. And humane education can take many forms, folks. Like, kudos to everybody who has their own form of humane education, whether it's bringing people in to do, I've seen a lot here recently with the overnight slumber parties at the shelters. That in itself is already humane education. You're showing people how these dogs are being housed and what they see overnight. And I mean, that could open up a lot of eyes to a lot of people that don't know what actually happens behind shelter doors all the time, which honestly is really the case. Yesterday somebody called us the dog pound, and I was like, whoa, 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 we're not the dog pound no more. We're the animal shelter. I was like, you don't just take animals to the dog pound. That's not how that works. But yeah, humane education can take many forms.
Hmm. And just before you get started on the article, though, just know most people don't mean it derogatory anymore. When they call it the pound, it just that's just their vocabulary. That's their
Mhm.
IQ in a sense. So I know, and it's an opportunity though for you to educate them, and maybe they use a different vocabulary as they move forward, right?
Absolutely. It's an opportunity to make sure that they understand that things have changed. We're no longer the dog pound or the dog catcher. And yeah, Dan, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's not always derogatory. And they didn't mean it derogatory. And I was just like, well, we're not called that anymore.
Biatch. No, I'm just kidding.
Imagine.
I know. Um,
So let's get into this. So this is eastidahonews.com.
can I just say, Idaho, most people don't know this. Like, they're super advanced with animal welfare stuff.
Are
Anyway,
they really?
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Idaho. I mean, it's on my desktop. Let me find it. Hold on. As you do that, there's some really cool. Wait, it's right here. Is this Idaho? Please be Idaho, because if not, dang it, it's Iowa. It's
Wow.
the Animal Care and Welfare Handbook. See, I make mistakes too. Anyway, but they have a really great Animal Care and Welfare Handbook that came out this year, and it's
In Iowa?
Iowa. It's pretty fascinating.
Okay. I don't
Yeah.
think I know anybody from either of those states.
Well, I have a buddy in Iowa, best friend. Shout out, best friend in Iowa. If you're listening, send me a message. I'm sure he'll send me that.
So this was published actually just yesterday at 7 a.m. So title is Humane Education Program Empowers Teens, Enriches Lives of Shelter Pets. There's a beautiful picture of a teen with a husky Malamute looking baby, shaking paws and showing off their skills. Let's see here. So it says Idaho Falls. This summer, Snake River Animal Shelter held its first ever humane education program for teens, Paws for a Cause. This 5-week course covered humane treatment of animals, the physical and emotional benefits animals can provide, general animal care, animal advocacy, including animal related careers, and serving the community through animals. The program includes lots of enrichment for shelter pets and cumulative in a visit to a local nursing home with a shelter dog named Goliath. Throughout the 5-week program, the participating teens were immersed in the world of animal welfare. They started the program by touring the facility, meeting staff, and learning how to properly interact with shelter dogs, cats, in addition to discussing SRAS's history, mission, and programs. Let's just stop there, guys. How amazing! Like, how amazing is this that we are also teaching not just what we do, but how to interact. I think that's a thing that we all, including myself, especially when we're out in the field, forget to teach people. Like, yeah, if you're coming up on somebody's property and you're acting like you're big and bad, like, yeah, no kidding, that dog's gonna come out you at 1,000% saying, "Hey, man, you're on my property."
Hmm. Hmm.
There's definitely a way that we can interact with the world, not only just people but animals too, and realize that they are also animals, and they're going to react to their environment. So rather than coming up on people's places that have animals on their property, don't be coming in at 1,000% Superman, and not expect to possibly get bit when a dog or a cat is trying to protect their property.
And I think absolutely, and I think too, like the more that you're exposed to those situations, the more that you create what works for you. And I say this all the time, like your body language, your tone of voice
Mhm.
absolutely contribute to how an animal and a human is going to react. So it's really important to just kind of be aware of all those situations.
Absolutely. Moving on, the teens enjoyed presentations by an animal control officer for Boonville County on the humane treatment of animals and career as an ACO, from a young woman with a service dog and a therapy dog in training on the life-saving service a dog can provide, and from SRAS vet team on general medical care for pets and careers as veterinarians and vet technicians. Shelter pets were directly involved every week and received great enrichment opportunities as the teens played with kittens during instruction, walking dogs along the river, fed squeeze up treats to the cats, and played with dogs in the play yard. A highlight of the program was when the teens created several enrichment activities for the shelter pets, which included puzzles, treats, and lots of loves. I'm gonna butcher this name, y'all. I'm sorry. Madara Sigmiller, an animal care technician of SRAS, shared that the animals involved in the program greatly benefited from the interactions with the teens. Every 10 minutes spent socializing with a dog is huge. Most dogs really warm up with social interactions, and human engagement greatly benefits every dog, Sig Miller said. One dog in particular, Spot, opened up too much, so much around the girls. He was a happy boy.
Hmm.
Cute. I wonder if it's that picture up there. And
With the
Dan will post it in the description.
Yeah, he's cute.
They're all cute. The cats benefited too. For example, during the program, several kittens were at SRAS awaiting adoption. These kittens had lots of energy, and interacting with the teens provided a great outlet. The final week of Paws for a Cause included a visit to Parkwood Meadows Assisted Living with one of the shelter dogs, Goliath. The teens visited residents in the activity room in addition to visiting others in their private rooms. It was incredible watching the residents light up as they interacted with Goliath and the teens. Goliath has since been adopted. Hooray.
Hmm.
After the program officially ended, three of the teens joined SRAS for another visit to a nursing home in August. Pause for a Cause was made possible thanks to a grant from the Latham Foundation and was created to assist teens with life skills and emotional health to improve the lives of shelter and community owned animals.
I'm just like looking at how they touched on so many different areas too. Like I think early in the article you talked about them
Mm-hmm.
visiting like a senior home,
Mm-hmm.
and just being being focused on like resource isn't the right word, even though you could say it's kind of being resourceful, but like focused on how do you say this? Like putting the community first, putting
Yeah.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's about having and creating relationships. I guess that's where I'm going because you talked about it earlier about like the dog pound terminology. For so many years, our profession was that like, and we're now like we're we're no longer in the infancy stages of animal shelters turning around. We're now in like the adolescent stages. I don't think we've reached adulthood yet because we're still like working through identity and working through, what works best for our communities. But we're no longer the dog pound. We're no longer a place where we were only created for public health and public safety. That is still a major, major part of what we do, but we also are now a community resource center. And I would love to see more and more of that. I would love to see a day, honestly, Ashley, I would love to see a day where our shelters are open to the public so they can come in and do dog training because there's no need for uh, housing for lost pets or something like that. I mean that may be
Mm-hmm.
50 years down the road, but it may be what our profession evolves to because maybe we just don't have those strays in our community anymore.
I think you bring up a really good point though, because and this thought literally just popped into my head. Why are we not treated like a senior activity center that some cities have, or like a YMCA?
Hmm.
Why haven't we gotten to that point yet? Which I think brings up a good point, of we're still lacking in our industry on how to get there, I think.
Hmm. And
Hmm.
that's why, I mean, I really do believe we're just still young in what we
Yeah.
do.
It's a
Like,
good analogy.
and I don't know when we succession plan or think about the future, like I don't know what we take into account, like on an individual level, on a professional level. Like I look at it more as at some point, Like we'll be organizing, and we do it now already because it's a feel good story, but we don't do it because we need to. But at some point, I think we'll need to go to other countries to import animals or pets, dogs, cats, etc., because we've done such a great job in this country on spaying and neutering. And it starts with humane education. Like we need to get back into the schools. We need to make sure, I know a lot of that shut down with COVID and whatnot, but like we need to make sure that we're going in there and talking to the kids. When I worked for the city and county of Denver, we partnered up with, at the time it was the Denver Dumb Friends League, and now it's Humane Colorado, or is it Colorado Humane? I think it's one of the two. They changed their name. It's It's Humane Colorado, I think.
Hmm.
Um, anyway,
Short and sweet.
yeah. So, but what they did, they had a whole program dedicated to schools through. So we could only go into schools in the city and county of Denver because that's where I worked. But they went all over the Denver metro area and did awesome education uh, classes from really young children, and they would modify how they were educating, what the curriculum or criteria looked like for each class
Hmm.
in order to make sure that they're reaching them. Because one thing that I learned early on was if you bring a dog to school to a group of first graders, they're not going to remember anything other than, oh, there was a dog at school, right? They're
Hmm.
not going to remember the importance about if the dog's not fixed, it's going to have, many, many, many babies. Also, can I just ADHD really quick?
Yeah.
Why is there no low cost spay and neuter clinic? Wow, let me try again. Why is there no low cost spay and neuter clinic across the country called The Price is Right? What are we doing?
Oh, there you go. You know what? That's our in for you, myself, Wisconsin Bishop to get it going.
You know what I'm saying? Like I Googled it, I was looking it up. I was like, how is there no spay and neuter clinic called The Price is Right? That is a life goal of mine. If I won the lottery tomorrow and had excessive money, I would just start The Price is Right spay and neuter clinics across the country. It would be as, I mean, it wouldn't be as like many as Starbucks, but my goal would be to try to be like Starbucks and you would just go to the, like, tell me The Price is Right wouldn't support that in a way, like at least let us use the name. Like we wouldn't have to use the logo, but like how could we not carry on the tradition from Bob Barker and have The Price is Right spay and neuter? Come on, what are we doing?
Dr. G, we got a proposal for you. It's
The
a
Rascal
franchise US.
the Rascal unit is amazing. We love it, but maybe it's time for The Price is Right. We're gonna see Dr. G soon. She's gonna be on the
Yeah,
show
we
soon.
are. I'm
Yeah,
so excited.
same.
Okay,
So yeah, yeah.
last part of this article. The program was developed by SRAS grants manager Callie Farnsworth and was based on input from local teen-focused service providers who shared that teens in our area needed emotional support and assistance with life skills. And as an animal welfare organization, Snake River Animal Shelter strives to educate the public on humane education and recognizes the importance of quality interactions with pets. The Latham Foundation for the Promotion of Humane Education is an incredible organization with a beautiful mission and purpose focused on finding ways for people to show compassion and understanding for animals and the earth, said Executive Director Michelle Seal Digman. We felt honored to be awarded funding from the Latham Foundation to support our efforts to improve and save animals' lives through humane education. It's been very rewarding to watch how these funds have blessed the lives of teens and animals in our community. Snake River Animal Shelter is excited to announce that they have secured funding to hold Paws for Claws again next summer. Hooray! Snake River Animal Shelter, a nonprofit animal rescue located in Idaho Falls, Idaho, opened its doors in August 2015. Since opening a decade ago, the shelter has rescued thousands of animals. The mission is to improve and save animals' lives by promoting quality care and compassion through adoption and humane education. The vision is to be the leader in the region through operational best practices, impactful programs, and humane education to increase the number of animals' lives saved.
That's so cool. Like where I grew up at that age, we had nothing like that. Like we had uh yeah, we had nothing like that. We had the local like YMCA and stuff like that, but we didn't have like a cool program that could bring kids in. And that was the other thing that I forgot about. They did that. They actually had a summer camp at Humane, Colorado, where you could pay and have your kids go and attend camp and learn how to care for animals as well. So I think it's just the more that we can do and educate our youth, then they're going to be the ones that are going to be the decision makers coming up, right? And be able to make the best decisions informed decisions for animals in the community.
Absolutely. And I think, when I started in this industry back in 2009,
Look at you.
uh, I feel like, when I walked into the animal shelter, yes, it was, luckily for us, we had a brand new shelter. It was only like 5 or 6 years out of being built. So it was beautiful. You walked in and had like this beautiful facade, and everything like that. But I feel when you walked in, it was more geared towards like, oh, you're paying off a ticket here. You can do your community service here so you can do all this hard labor and pay off a ticket. I think what we need to do is we need to pair that with humane education as well. Like, yes, it's helpful to have these people come in to, instead of having to pay off their tickets, they can, volunteer their time to do that, but also pair it with humane education too on why is it important for them to come in and help the facility do what they need to do on a daily basis. So that it's not just like a gripe, because not everybody can do what we do, folks. We all know that every day is usually the same thing, different animal. But it's hard labor. It really is. Shouts out to all the animal care technicians out there in the world who are doing it every day. I have a team of great people who do this every single day, and kudos to them. When I help, I'm like, oh, I can't do this anymore. I'm so old. How did I do this so many days a week? Um, but shouts out to them because man, it's a lot of hard labor, folks, to keep these animals healthy and in sanitary conditions. And it's not just a couple hours in the morning. It's a daily, several hours a day thing all day.
Yeah, and it it's in my opinion in animal welfare, it has got to be one of the hardest jobs that we do, and they get paid the least amount, which is just wild to me. Like
Agreed.
they are on their feet all day, on their feet literally. The only time they get a chance to sit is at break time.
Hmm.
You might see them sit when they like go take a dog for a walk and they have a bench to sit on, but outside of that, they're literally on their feet and they are cleaning, feeding, trying to enrich the lives of these animals. Like it is not an easy job. And I just, again, like we need to raise awareness for them because they're the ones doing some of that stuff that some people just don't want to do. I remember years and years ago, we had a shadow, not even shadow, like part of our training was to work in the
Hmm.
kennels for like a
Hmm.
couple weeks. This is many years ago. And
Hmm.
man, that was a tough job. So hats off to all those folks. Um, and yeah, just we at least for me, like I think the true change comes from education,
Hmm.
outreach, just sure there's you'll never hear me say there is a need for enforcement, but we can
Hmm.
get there a lot of ways to the final product or whatever we're looking to
Hmm.
do without having to enforce.
No, absolutely. And I think a lot of it too comes down to having change within our industry as well. Because there's still a lot of the dog pounds and the dog catchers that do exist. And,
Hmm.
we're all very aware of that. But like to Dan's point as well, is like if you are an ACO agency and you are partnered with a local humane society or a government brick and mortar, make sure you send your ACOs through training to see what those care techs are doing on a daily basis because it will open up their eyes to that life and how hard it is, because I will always be the purveyor of I am not a fan of agencies that are not together because it makes for, in my opinion, a lazy ACO to just pick up and dump, because they don't realize all the hard work that goes on the other side. So if you're one of those agencies who's connected with a brick and mortar, make sure you send your ACOs to do like a week of cleaning and all that stuff so they also realize what's going on there.
You just shared something that I haven't really thought of, where so if you're and without this is no disrespect, this is just looking at it from like a comparison perspective, or like yeah, like if you're an animal control officer for a small police department and you don't have a shelter, what is that identity of that animal control officer team versus an animal
Hmm.
control officer team that lives out of that shelter? That's a real,
Hmm.
we might have to do a whole episode on that with like animal control officers from both sides because I
Hmm.
feel like there may be, and I've been, honestly, I'm just super grateful for the experiences that I've had in this world. And I've worked for all now. I've worked for nonprofit departments, I've worked for shelters, I've worked for public works, whatever. and I've worked for law enforcement too, and there are different vibes across the gate. Like
Hmm.
however you, yeah, I mean, I think it's just might be individualized too, but I felt like there was definitely different vibes for sure.
Yeah, there's huge disconnect. And,
Yeah.
I always tell our city, if you ever take animal control away from me, I'm gone. Bye. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Gotta have it. Gotta have it. Well, this is a fun one, short and sweet, something that we wanted to talk about. I think it's really important that we got to highlight this stuff. We got to show like the great work people are doing. We just talked about Ashley up in Michigan, not Ashley Bishop in Texas or Wisconsin, but Ashley in Michigan, just doing some great outreach for her community, and we'd love to see it. Uh, Obviously, like the more that we can do to really show people the great work that we're doing, I think the bigger impact we're going to have. And just remembering we're still in the adolescent stage of this profession, and the more that you guys can, you know, I guess just be innovative. I always talk about like, do you want to be a nameless gray face, or do you want to be remembered as like a Henry Berg or a Caroline Earl White? Like it's up to you to make that choice, and you can impact in a lot of positive ways, like these folks are doing. So
Absolutely. Shouts out to Idaho and Iowa.
shout out Iowa. Sorry for the mistaken identity. Well, thanks for listening. Please keep in touch. We really appreciate y'all and continue to help people.
Help animals.
Keep it humane.